Hello. Hi, Andrea. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Great, thank you. I'll just welcome everybody who might be watching this and explain a little bit about what we're doing. So I have invited you to share with my community your experience in going gluten-free. So I guess some background, we work together, and perhaps you could share a little bit as to why we started working together, Andrea, and then what you saw in terms of specifically taking gluten out and why you decided to do that, and some of the challenges you came up against, and then some tips for people maybe at the end as to what you did that worked and really helped you continue with making the choice, and why you decided to do that. So just fine. Okay, so because it's one of the, I guess, as a holistic health coach, gluten is one of the first things I kind of work with people on taking out of their diet if they're experiencing a particularly digestive discomfort or generally autoimmune or other conditions. So it's one of the first things I do. So it's great that you can share your experience on that. So tell us where you started with Lockie, why you came to me with Lockie, Andrea.
Well, I was very frustrated, and concerned as well, really concerned. I was having a lot of trouble getting him to eat most different foods, or a variety of different foods for dinner in particular, but even lunchtime he was mostly just eating white bread with a bit of cheese just toasted on top, and then for dinner, if he wouldn't eat it, I'd end up giving him something simple like some pasta or some bread, and he'd eat that, and he was fine. But I was just really worried that he wasn't getting enough of the nutrients that he needed, and I was getting a bit tired as well. People were telling me, oh, it's okay, it's just a phase, but I know it's so important for their growth and development to be having all these nutrients now, and that he was missing out on it. So I thought I'd just get in contact with you and just ask your opinion on what I should do, and your advice was to do a little program with you, which and gluten was, like you said, one of the first things to cut out. So that's where we started. Yeah.
Great. And so we should just say Lockie at that time was
he would have been 2, just turned 2, I think, yeah.
And then you had Thomas, who was probably around about 4 or 5 months?
Yeah, about that, yeah.
I think the thing, when you've talked about starting a program, because you trusted your intuition, like you knew instinctively that it wasn't quite right, despite what people were saying. And amazing. I commend you immensely for that, Andrea. It's easy not to, like it really is, to kind of continue as you are, because that's generally the way we eat. So I guess one of the first things we talked about was taking out gluten. I'd love to hear what you first thought when I suggested that.
I remember.
Because what was he having for breakfast?
Wheat Bix, or what else would he eat? I can't remember now, but something that was probably gluten-based. And so when you suggested it, I remember just thinking, how on earth am I going to do this? But also, why do I need to do it as well? I asked you, to send some evidence through and some articles, and to try and help get my husband on board as well, and we could talk about it and just slowly make the steps to do it. But working with you was good, because you did show me just week by week just some small changes I could make, and just some small things to cut out, but also some great recipes for making things that were gluten-free, and some great alternatives for him. So I just did it slowly and steadily at first, and I was shocked. I just didn't know where to start at the beginning.
Well, I think that's the thing, isn't it? Because there is a lot of information out there, and there's, I guess, a little bit of resistance as to how the children are going to react.
Yeah.
And how you're going to make it happen. And so we did make gradual changes, but they actually made a significant difference, I think.
Yes, and pretty early on we noticed a big difference. I think I remember one of our first couple of calls, and I said, oh wow, Lockie's made this big change this week, and you know, his behaviour's improved and digestion and everything, and that had only been the first couple of weeks. So we did start seeing changes so early as well. Yeah,
fantastic. So I think that was the thing also, Andrea, is that there were kind of symptoms or clues that you didn't relate to the food. Your concern was nutrients. However, through the process of taking the gluten out and adding in a few more nutrients and other foods, we I think you noticed other changes like behaviour, which was affecting him. What else did you notice? The digestion. Just explain that a little bit.
Yeah. Well, he had runny poo most of the time, but he ended up. It was sort of uncomfortable as well, a bit of sort of some tummy aches as well, and so it just being a little bit more regular, less tummy aches as well, and I think it just also helped his sleep as well. It made him have a better night's sleep, I think, too.
Fantastic. I know, so good, which would have helped his mood and with his digestion as well. So what did you see with his behaviour? So for people that are listening, perhaps they can kind of relate to what might be happening in their own home.
Yeah, just a lot happier, I think. He is a very strong-willed person or child, and he does have his behaviour can be quite difficult, but I think that's also his temperament. But I think he just became. People had said to me they'd noticed he was just a little calmer, was just better behaved, I guess, in a better mood, happier. Yeah.
Well, it's a big indicator when other people notice, because sometimes you get so close to it, it's hard to notice the change.
Yeah, exactly.
And what about his overall? Actually, before that, what was the biggest challenge that you found in going gluten free? Might be more than one, but.
One of the biggest challenges was probably trying to convince my husband that it was a good idea and getting him on board, and that was a huge challenge. And then another challenge, which was kind of a lot smaller, but having all the flour and pasta and all the wheat-based things in the house, and kind of just going, what do I do? Do I use these up, or do I gave a lot away to friends. And then, just the challenge of having it there and thinking, I could just put a little bit in today's cooking and it will be okay. But no, I ended up giving quite a lot away, or using it for different things like flour in Play-Doh and things like that.
Yeah. There's always a way. And so how did you? What do you think was the key with getting Ant on board, your husband on board?
I think for him, seeing the changes it made in Lockie, that taking him off gluten made, he's seen that if I've given him a little bit of gluten in something like a biscuit with it in, he's seen that Lockie's had tummy troubles and is a little bit grumpier and won't sleep as well. And so he has seen the changes that it's made in that way, that it is harder for him to digest it and that he has trouble eating it. So I think that that's really made him get on board with it. And also, me showing him that, there are these great recipes we can make, and alternative ideas and recipes for things we used to eat, but they can taste just as yummy without wheat as well. So, yeah.
That's fantastic. That's awesome, Andrea. I think that's the thing. It's a feeling of deprivation that you might be missing out. And I think for kids, actually, but, and I guess, how do you manage going to birthday parties and, when you're going out? and things like that?
Yeah, when we go out, I pack everything for them. And birthday parties, I'd have to say Lockie's too busy playing usually to worry about the food table. So I haven't really had to worry, actually. And yeah, even if there's birthday cake, he's just too busy playing and doing things. So I think Thomas will be the real challenge at birthday parties because he seems to love his food a lot more. So he'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah. So, and just on saying, talking about Thomas, your younger one, did you have noticed changes in other family members, or Thomas, and any, and for yourself even?
Yeah, even for me, I went out for dinner a couple of weeks ago with some friends and had some bread, and I did notice I was feeling quite unwell the next day in the tummy. And then Thomas even, he's really never eaten wheat that I can think of. So, and he's happy and everything. He's doesn't have tummy troubles or anything at all. So yeah.
That's great. Excellent. Now, do we talk more about getting your husband on board, like seeing the changes in Lockie, which is fantastic. Was there anything else that you found with taking out gluten and wheat that might help others, Andrea? I guess has it been worthwhile? Has it been?
Yes, it has. Yeah, it definitely has. It's really opened up a different sort of a lot more different ingredients and things we can use in baking and our cooking, and even just making like the chopped chip biscuits from your website. They've got so many great things in them that you just think about how much better things like almond meal are compared to just like wheat flour, and how much better it is for your body. And so, yeah, that's what I keep thinking as well.
So it was having that knowledge as well, which I'm going to talk, because I've got a workshop and webinar coming up, talking about in that as to why certain ingredients are better and what they can do in the body, which is really important, I think, also to understand that why component. And so tell us about Lockie's now, how when we first caught up, he wasn't, had bland palate, not much colour. What's his diet like now? What kind of foods is he eating now?
Well, so a typical day, he loves the paleo pancakes from your website. He just absolutely loves them and asks for them all the time. So he'll have them for breakfast. Yeah. And then with like mixed berries on top as well, and sometimes a bit of coconut yogurt, and he wouldn't even touch yogurt before. So that's good. And then like morning tea, just like a chopped chip biscuit from your website, or just something simple like that. And then lunch, he's just always having like different things. Like he'll quite often have leftovers from the night before, so like a nice filling, like a meat dish that's got lots of veggies in it as well. And then like afternoon tea is just usually so full from everything he's eaten that day. And then dinner again, he's actually eating more family food. So I used to spend a lot of time making extra things just for him to eat, because he'd eat the same thing pretty much. But now I'll make something for Ant and I, and I'll quite often just serve it to him, and Thomas will pretty much eat anything that's him. And I think again that's probably the work we've done, is that why Thomas will pretty much eat anything is because we've put in all that work, and we were doing it as he started solids as well, so he's been used to eating these different things. So
great timing. That's fantastic. That's so good to hear. So his palate's broadened, more colour, more vegetables, and he wasn't eating that much meat either, was he, when we first started? No,
he wasn't eating heaps of meat. No, and so he's eating more of a different variety of meats as well. And so he'd pretty much only eat like minced beef in spaghetti. So now he'll have, like, even the other day he had marinated chicken drumsticks, and he didn't want to try it at first, but we convinced him to, and he ate the whole thing. So he's just changed so much. It's great.
Awesome. Well, it's also a great credit to, you know, how you've approached it, and, you know, getting everybody involved, I think, is key. It was part of that too. So, you know, great admiration for the work that you've done. And I guess that's part of it. Did it take a lot of time and effort through the process to make the change?
I guess it felt like a lot of time and effort was being put into it at the time. Because as well as talking to you, and you sent through articles and I'd read them, but I'd also print them out, and I was really dedicated towards making this work. And so I myself put a lot of time and effort into looking online at recipes and reading extra things and things like that. But I guess it's as much as you want to put in towards it. And I made a lot of different things and experimented a lot. So yeah, I guess I put in a lot of time and effort, but that's because I chose to, because I wanted it to work.
And I think you got results pretty quickly because of that.
Definitely, yeah.
It's whatever people have time for, but you have got some fantastic results. It's amazing. So before we wrap up, Andrea, I really appreciate your time. I know the kids are going to be waking up soon. Wrap up. What kind of tips, if people are looking at doing this at home and, you know, they've had a little bit of resistance, they're not sure where to start, or it seems too hard, what, you know, top 3 or 4 tips would you give to them?
I'd probably do a little bit of research about it, look at a couple of articles, or there was the What's with Wheat documentary as well, which was good. Probably look at your website at different recipes on there. They're fantastic. And even just try, I think just go slowly. I think for me, I was trying to make too many things each day and not thinking, you know, I'll make this one day and it will last a couple of days. So I think maybe even double recipes as well. So if you want to make the biscuits, double the recipe biscuit, or the dinners as well, and things like that to save time.
Sorry to interrupt, Andrew, but most of
them can
be frozen. A lot of them, can't they? Or they'll last longer. You know,
definitely. And I guess another thing would be food preparation as well. And I do a menu plan for the week now and do my shopping list based on that. So just food preparation and using a Sunday or a weekend day to cut things up and get things ready for the week. So that also helped me too. So,
Our hour of power, I like to call it. A little bit longer.
A couple of hours.
But then it takes the time out during the week. You know, you don't have to spend so much time during the week, do you? So,
and even I guess something I did find. No, sorry, just one more thing. One thing I found easier is I've got a Thermomix. So if I was making your pancakes in the morning, I would either make up the batter that night or put the dry ingredients into the Thermomix to add everything, the wet ingredients, in the morning, and that has saved a lot of time as well.
Great idea.
Yeah.
And in fact, that pancake recipe, you can actually leave the ingredients made up in the fridge, ready to go. Need them.
I've done that a couple of times.
Yeah, that's a great tip. Is there anything else? Anything else?
Not that I can think of. No.
I guess one other thing I think I see, which is important, is getting support, Andrea. You know, and then you talk about getting Ant on board. I know you also kind of shared what you were doing with extended family members as well. How important was that through the whole process to help you kind of implement?
It was important. I struggled a little bit with extended family members, and then Ant, because he was seeing the results, he stood up to them and said, "Oh, you know, Andrea's doing a great job with this, and we've seen these results, and we want you to be on board." And people would just, their opinions were that, "Oh, why would you cut out gluten? You need gluten," and that was. You know, it's going to be so inconvenient if you go out for dinner or go out for lunch and things like that. But I kind of proved to them that it's not, and that it is worthwhile trying and sticking with as well. Yeah.
So I guess
just the results we had.
I know, and it is very difficult, especially when they're close family members, and there's it's just different opinions and respecting them, isn't it? So I guess but that the message there is perhaps just continue on your path and experiment. Think of it as experiment, but commit to it for a good month just to see what happens. And as you said, you really have to do all of it rather than just little bits here, like a little bit of flour.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So maybe make a box of things that you want to donate from the cupboard.
Oh, that's great. That's I really appreciate it, Andrea. It's so helpful. So, anything else before we wrap up? Kids wake up?
No, I think that's all. Thank you.
Well, thanks so much for sharing that, Andrea. Really appreciate it. I've got to say, I really loved working with you because you're so committed to what we talked about, and you just got some great results at the end of it. So thank you very much. And I think you're going to join me on my webinar that I'm hosting on the 14th of February, and then also we've got the workshop Simple Steps for Gluten-Free Living on the 8th of February. So if people want to join us on that would be great too. A live workshop on the 8th of February and the webinar on the 14th, and there'll be details on my website. So great. All right. Thanks so much, Andrea. Take care. I'll let you go and get organised before the boys wake up.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Andrea.